So Ichi the Witch's chapter was a little strange to me. I'm gonna be honest. I opened the chapter when it like with the belief that I wasn't gonna like the chapter. I ended up liking it, but it has like a weird. I know a lot of people talking about like the weird feeling of like Endgame already. I don't think it's Endgame like, yeah, next arc in like 2 arcs is last arc, 3 arcs, and we're gonna end it. I think it's more of like kind of like Avatar. Hey, you're gonna have to fight the Fire Lord one day, and it's like, okay, well, how long is that gonna take? And it's like, we'll see. Let's see, my dog sitting here. I gotta lean forward. He's gonna be mad if I move him out of his spot. But I think it's something that we're gonna obviously have to work way higher up towards, because I still don't actually think Deskross is the strongest witch in the world. I would assume that she's one of like maybe top 5, but I think hers is like highest potential, but it'd be like the people above her are way older and like way more seasoned witches, if I had to guess. Again, I don't really know. That's just my belief, but you know, I guess my whole guess and hypothesis in this. But my other dog's trying to like come get on top of me right now, and I'm trying to do this. I'm in a dog fight while I'm trying to just get this whole talk about witches going. Good. I guess it's actually, you know what, that might be Ichi accurate for his feral want for combat. Mine is just my dogs only want my attention when I'm doing something that doesn't require them. But yeah, I would like the idea that she is like going to be the strongest, but she still's like, oh, in the idea of, in reality, she like in 10 years she will be the strongest, but she's actually ranked number 5, or something like that. I don't know, because we're seeing the verse already at a really high point, but that's not uncommon. Just for example, the 2 adjacent series that I look at in Shonen Jump to the Ichi the Witch, you have like Kagurabachi. Kagurabachi has already shown the you know, the super best by far sword, and now we have Samura, who is a swords master. So it's like, really, when you think about it, at least as of what's directly understandable from a state or an idea of like character engagement of strength, there's only, I think, one guy, the sword master. What I can't remember if he has a name yet, but you know, he's the only one that I think would be higher up. So it's like, reality, it's like that one's already really high in terms of character power levels of what we know about the verse. Same thing with Ultimate Exorcist Kyoshi, with Kyoshi already being like cross paladin level. He just lacks the experience and the full drawn out grasp on his capabilities. We already know one of the great demon lords. It's like, so it's not like this is a sign for, oh, something bad's gonna happen in this series. I don't think so. Plus, like I don't see Kyoshi. One day I gotta wait for volume 2 to see how that sells, because I think volume 2 sales will do well. Before I get distracted, I was like thinking about it, because I was like, man, actually, I want to know how volume 2 is gonna do, because it's got the more popular rival on it. History might repeat itself on that one. We'll see. But with Ichi the Witch, I think they sold like 30 or 40k or something on volume 1. They're gonna be fine. But like I said, it feels to me way more so like, oh yeah, you're gonna have to fight this boss. Yeah, hey Jack, you're gonna have to fight Aku. You're gonna fight Aku at some point, and it's like, yeah, that won't take too long. And then 30 years or 50 years, 100 years. But all these characters right now, we're just kind of like getting in terms of, hey, here's what's going on. We get this one girl who's like taken over by the prophecy magic. So it's just this, I'm a lore character for upcoming events. I'm gonna set certain stages, and then I would love just to get one of these things where it could slip up and actually give us some information that I would want. Like, what exactly is this magic's name? Is it supposed to be like the I don't know, despair magic or something, and maybe that's why I can do this weird warping thing? Because like the thing about its power is it does this when it warps stuff out, does. I don't really know what like terminology you would use to kind of describe what it causes the flesh to become, but it almost looks like it's in like this hellish warping mutaty more thing. And I think it's something better than warp, because they use warping. I guess just full trans configuration. Like it's just like this weird flesh melding. Like like you said, hey, everything in this area, you know, whether it be rock or concrete, wood, vegetation, plastic, or flesh, all of that, it's going to become different types of flesh and bone, and you just forcefully essentially turn it into something else. It would just be weird, like you're fusing all this stuff together and turning it into some unknown material. But at the same time, I think that's just kind of interesting. But I just wish we would know it, like at least a hint of what this guy's supposed to be. I feel like it'd be like something like that, or like the despair magic, and it just wants to ruin the world for it. But they have this whole thing about how it's going to eventually bring the world to full ruin, but the only thing that can stop him is the one that acquires the magic from Oro. Which again, I like actually how this is playing out. For context, one of the things I didn't like about the series was the idea of Oro's just being like a magic buff. I like that right now it's sustaining the drawback. I'd like to get it to where Ichi doesn't fall asleep for 3 days. Like maybe he's like, oh man, I can't use magic for the next hour or something once we get to that point or something. Or I can use it once a day. That'd be great. But maybe not pass out. He just gets tired, and maybe he can use other magic, but he can't just use the buff spell. Because instead of it being a thing that fixes any scenario, it seems to be like directly like, hey, this is going to be the key to this problem, which I like, because I know it's easy to use other series in Jump, especially as an example, but like Black Clover, I didn't like how anti-magic became like a fix for too many things, and I was like, God, I hope that doesn't happen in this with essentially just amp magic, where it just get anything and then make it better, make it just more powerful baseline, which is like good, but it's like that just seems to be such an easy fix in, again, every scenario. Is you can just, what if I have this great thing and then made it stronger? And then it's like, okay, well, it doesn't mean that this would happen, but it's always worrisome to have it set up like that, because obviously like writers can write themselves into a problem sometime. And it's like, if you write something knowing you have this cheat in the background, I would imagine it's very easy, especially on like a weekly schedule, to write yourself in a spot and just be like, okay, well, I'm just going to go this route and fix it. Just because of the fact, yeah, or be One Punch Man with that whole setup and just retcon a year and a half. No, I'd much rather anything than that. That's like the worst thing for me. I would hate to read a year and a half of something and then immediately get it erased. But right now it's just telling us a little bit about it. I didn't think that Ichi agreeing to really was surprising. The thing about it that I think is surprising, that at least I didn't see people talk about yet online, is Deskross's opinions on this. Not opinions, but her response. Because the whole first bit, you don't really see her face much until after the prophecy and full kind of thing is set up, because you're introduced to him, and this is something that I didn't mention, but it is important, is like the whole thing, I guess, is like she's willing to cooperate with humans, but it's in a way that is like she can kind of just like casually do it and not have to worry about any problems. But at the same time, it's like it seems like she enjoys the fact she can kind of be like, well, you should be nice to me, I'm working with you guys, isn't that fair? None of the other magics are just work with you guys, and I'm giving you guys I'm giving you prophecies free of service. It's just how it works. Like, it's just the only thing I could do. How's that my fault? It's actually kind of like, yeah, it's true. I mean, like, she just seems to be helping. It just seems to be she's just doing something extra for the sake of doing it. So it's like you can't really rush something you're getting for literally no real cost of trade. But Deskra just doesn't like her, which I thought made sense. It seems like it'd be really annoying to work with somebody like this, where it seems like it's just you have to just play along. But after she tells the prophecy, it looks like Deskros is really annoyed, like, but the thing is, I think she's annoyed that Ichi is suddenly like, you're the savior, you're the one, you're the chosen one who's gonna save us all, you're the most important guy in the world that's gonna end it, the apocalypse. Nobody else can do, no one else can do this. Yeah, no one. It just like, I would just assume in her mind, because somebody who clearly has a very big hype on her own ego, this is probably really annoying, especially when you know like the prophecies are absolute and you just were in a fight with the, you know, the world hater Majik and you were unable to beat him. And it's not like she went all out. I imagine that she would has other abilities that she hadn't got to using yet, but we know that if they don't, it's weird with their whole setup, because we know if you don't defeat their trial, you essentially are just like, even if they can't defeat you in straight combat, you're just gonna tire yourself out at some point and you're gonna lose. So eventually you have to just leave. There, like, it's a weird setup with the Majiks that I do like, because it has this kind of like, if you're locked in a scenario where you can't even figure out the trial, even if you can defeat the Majik in combat, they're just gonna keep regenerating and it's gonna go on forever. Well, not forever from them if they need to, but for whatever witch they're fighting, they're going to be limited by their time and capabilities. But it's just, you could see in the chapter that she's getting annoyed, because there's a bit when Ichi and, oh God, what was this girl's name? I know it's the prophecy Majik. Her name was really annoying how to pronounce. Jishiki Roan. As they're talking, it's like slowly zooming away, where it's just it doesn't seem like she's important in the scene, and she's just kind of there, and then she's just quiet, and she's just getting pissed off, like clenching her fists, getting angry. So again, I would assume that this is going to be something where we're going to see a little bit of her character, and it was set up to where it wasn't going to be we're going to learn a bit about how Ichi is going to be reacting different. I think we already saw areas like that. This is a scenario I think it just made sense. Hey, we're going to go hunt this thing you want to hunt, but in the process you might die. And it's literally like something that he already had to mind. So I just thought, I at least saw some people talking about like, this was too fast. I don't think so. I think this was something that worked. It's like a complete easy choice for him. Because it's like, he literally was just saying, I want to hunt this thing so bad, I'm going to hunt it one day. It's like, hey, we're going to get you set up so you can hunt this thing one day, but you might die. And he's like, I literally say that I'm ready to die in every single combat scenario I ever go into, because it's death for death. I think the whole point of this is going to be more so we're going to learn a little about Deskros' character and see a different side to her a little bit, like see her annoyed. Maybe we get a little bit of insight on her, because I don't think, I'd have to go back and look at some chapters. We don't really have a lot where it's like insight from her side. It's almost always from Ichi's side. But I mean, that's going to be the thing. Maybe we get that kind of explored in the next bit. Other than that, though, I thought this chapter read really fast. It mostly was just like, hey, prophecy stuff. Here, I'm a complete and total exposition character that is going to be just giving information every time I'm on screen. I'm a clown, do you like my clown design? Do you like my clown girl outfit? I would say, you know what, you have a very nice clown girl outfit. Please give me some prophecies at some point. I don't want to argue with you. Let's just have a good day. This girl, though, she just seems like, fuck this Majik, man. I hate this thing. I want to cut it in half. Either way, though, it was a solid chapter, but at the same time, it's like, I just wish we had, I wish we were able to find out a little bit more about, like, the warping. I want to know, like, what does it turn this stuff into? Is it, because it's like, is it turn it all into one material and it's like some fictional mineral within the verse? Is it something that we could recognize? Or is it just like, yeah, it turns everything into this weird, I don't know, monocolored like flesh shit. I don't know. Either way, though, we're gonna. I said that like 3 times. I've been trying to wrap this up. Usually, when I say that, I'm like trying to wrap stuff up, but I'm like trying really hard to do it at the same time. While, hey, there's this other thing I want to mention. Either way, though, wrap myself up. Good chapter. I wish it had a little bit more build up into events before just throwing us at, hey, here's a bunch of lore. Like, I wish this chapter was more so on, I'm trying to think of what would have been really cool. Like, I wish this was next week's chapter, and this chapter was maybe another one where maybe we see Maybe Deskross talking like without Ichi around. She's talking to Togais, and they have like kind of like their own back and forth thing, and then Ichi wakes up. I don't know. Maybe that'll be the next chapter, and it's in reverse. Either way, though, talk to you guys next one. Bye.